Hi everyone, it is a Tiny Seeds again. It's a long time since I've done one. Love these short little conversations with you. Welcome everyone. Um, right, so this one about safety needs, really what it is all about needing predictability, about needing to know what is coming. Now, if you think about it, it's nearly impossible to know what is coming. We can predict and to a certain extent, we can be ready to a certain extent, but we cannot actually know anything that for certain what's going to come, and we actually cannot prevent anything that's out of our control. In our control, only our own response, our own reaction is the only thing that's inside our control. Everything else is not inside our control. Tough idea to get used to, but is muffin. Okay. So now we go with this. Life is unsure, but the more pain we've been hiding away, and the more trauma we've been normalizing and ignoring, and like it's not as bad as anybody else's, and at least I still have food, or at least this, or at least that, at least this is not as bad as that one. The way of normalizing whatever happened really to tiny you, which really did happen to tiny you, and tiny you internalized it in a way which was traumatic, then it needs to be worked through. But now big you is still walking around with a lack of safety, lack of safety in the world, lack of belief in a strong self, a capable self, an acceptable self. And therefore, we have increased safety needs about what is going to happen next in the world. Give me the list of how this is going to happen. Tell me what the outcome is going to be. Give me all the steps. Give me the diagrams. Give me the entire specs. Now, that is how adults with a lack of safety in the world will approach life. And also, if we are an adult, the lack of belief in ourselves, a lack of uh, actualized self, a lack of strong internal self direction will look at the world outside us for us to be okay. So once we have really grown in ourselves, done the self esteem work, feel great about ourselves, learn about boundaries, learn about our worthiness, love ourselves with all our warts and all, then we are more capable of handling uncertainty, because instead of looking outside ourselves, we replace the safety inside us. But how to get there? That's the question. So we keep ourselves from getting help very often because we don't want to look vulnerable. We don't want to look less. We don't want to look like there's something wrong with us. And therefore, we don't go for help. We don't know how to accept help in because we believe it's going to make us look weak. And therefore, we just don't. We are wanting to be more whole before we look for help, which is counterproductive, because as sooner we find real help, the sooner we will be really well inside, strong inside. Um, it's I have told you about this before. When I used to do pottery classes for kids, I would say to the 6-year-olds, "Come on, we're going to make a fish plate. Who's excited? Yay, yay, everybody! We're going to make a fish plate. Yes!" And we just start. There's no questions. It's like start. And then from 12, 13 onwards, the questions start. And the adults are the ones with exactly the same list. "I've never done this before. Will I be able to do it? Will you help me? What's going to happen next? When am I going to get it? What's the color going to be? How's the color going to be applied? Can I do that? So the list of what needs to be answered. The insecurity, I've never done this before, but will I be? And I'm not creative. It always comes. I'm not creative. I haven't done this. It always comes out there. So the list of selling ourselves short. The safety needs and understanding the entire process. That's an adult thing. But kids we all were like that once. There's no 6-year-old who have ever arrived at a class and said, fish plate? What is it? Explain to me what a fish plate is before I want to make it. And let me see if it's going to go in with my color scheme. Fish plate, yes. And so we were like that. We were chipped, life chipped away from us. So if we are more open and less protective, we can get to the end goal faster, but we don't. So we put it off, but we are searching. There's always another book. There's always another person to listen to. There's always another um, something to go and attend. Something new. I'm going to go to this person. I've got to go to that modality. This one have to fix me. That there's always something new because we keep on searching for what we know. There's something inside that is just not 100% fitting. We can look beautiful to the world. We can be successful. We can have lots of friends. We can be happily codependently married, but we are going to feel inside ourselves, there is just something that makes me search. There is just something that I know I should be doing something about, or that I could be, or maybe we don't even know what we are supposed to do. We just have this search in us. So just to understand that when we have the search in us, it's telling us that there's something that's unresolved. And then if we keep the fear of of needing safety fear, needing to be perfect before I can get help, and needing to know exactly what the outcome is going to be at a certain time, that is how we're holding ourselves back. So in a way, we have to become like the 6-year-old who is willing to jump in and try it and trust. And here's the word, trust. It's so hard to trust another human being because we have been keeping it locked up for such a long time, looking fine, looking self-contained, that we are willing to not look for help, and we are willing to to find another way for us to do it ourselves rather. And that is a way, of course, that we are going to hurt ourselves. So let me look at this next slide that I have here. So we talked about safety needs, and now I want to talk a little bit about the brain that needs to breathe more than it wants you to be happy. Then we're going to go to the next one. I'm going to go quickly through this. So your brain has got one job only: keep breathing, keep living. To keep you alive is job number one. If anything distresses you so much that your brain decides in all its wisdom that if you are being distracted by this thing, you are not paying attention to breathing, to living. And so it will distract you. It will give you a pain. It will give you a distraction. It will give you a reason to stop working on what distresses you. So it will give you memory loss. It will make you fall asleep. It will make you start yawning because it wants to give you a reason why you have to stop going where the brain believes that you are not capable of handling it. Because when you had to handle it when you were younger than 7, the brain learned that you can't handle this. Because no 7-year-old, no 6-year-old, no 5-year-old can handle trauma without help. So the brain knows nothing else but that stuff traumatizes you, let me put you to sleep. That stuff traumatizes you, let me give you another pain. You're going to believe it, you're going to pay attention to that, and you're going to stop scratching around where I think you're going to die. But now you're an adult. You can go scratch around there. You can talk to your subconscious because whatever you say out loud, your subconscious hears it and believes it. And you can decide. Decision is the important thing. You can decide that I am, no matter what, I am actually going to do this. I'm going to trust somebody. I'm going to try something new. I'm going to go against my own learning because I have an end goal. This is where I want to get. So you can do it. Have been done. True story. Been there, done that. It can be done. Okay. And then when we take a lot of things personally, when no harm was intended, it means that the brain is hiding something from us. So if we do that, and so unfortunately, our people that has been the most hurt are the people that has the biggest reactivity and that has the biggest chance of taking stuff personally. It is just unfortunately how it is. Biggest hurt that has been the most squished, that has been the most internalized, trauma that has been unresolved is going to just have more reactivity. And the reactivity is going to be very easily triggered because of taking things personally, and especially in this way, where, where I am not important, I'm not as important, I'm not wanted. This person is going to see right through me and see how unacceptable I am, and they're going to reject me. So it's always that fear of rejection, that fear of judgment, the fear of abandonment that sits just behind when we've been squishing too many hurts, when we've just been living our life around it, because what else are we supposed to do? And in that way, just that very thing of being easily offended is another thing where we are going to keep ourselves from getting help, because we can then get very easily accepted, triggered by anybody who we are working with, because we can do that in relationships, we can do that in jobs, we can do that in the supermarket. The more reactive we are, the more it's going to be in all relationships. Now, imagine you open yourself up to let some sort of therapist into your life. You dare, you're brave, you go there, you start talking, and you take offense at something where you have dared, where you have been brave. This is the moment where you can very easily take yourself out of this. And it does happen, and therapists are aware of it. Every therapist is aware of the fact that this may happen. Well, I hope everyone is. I don't actually think everyone is. So it is something that can happen. It is something to be aware of, that once you make a commitment, stick with it. Don't give up on yourself. Just stick with it. Stick with it. Stick with it. Don't run away. Don't try and fix it yourself. Don't give up. Keep on going, because you stop when you feel inner peace. You stop when you feel good about yourself. You stop when you know, I've woken up from sleepwalking. I can see these things. I can own these things. I have peace inside myself. I feel easy. I feel easy in the world. I don't have all these anxieties that I had before. I don't have so many rules that I needed in order to get through life safely. So I hope this helps somebody. I want to see, I'm not seeing any hearts tonight. I want to see if there's any comments. Also don't see any comments. I know these short ones are, you have to be fairly fast to jump on and catch them. And I'll quickly see, I don't see any comments. I don't even know if anybody can hear me. I hope somebody can hear me. Right, and okay, so what we're going to do is, I'm going to check back on a comment in a minute, but what we are going to do is we are going to ask everybody, even if you come in and you watch the replay, so we're going to ask everybody to please comment, ask your questions, share. I will go back in, I will watch, give us those hearts, and I need to practice this so I can do it fast. So give us those hearts. And if you know somebody needs this, please share. Always coming back in. I'm always coming to check these questions. And I value each and every one who watch and who shares and comments. So let me check again. I don't see any comments. Sometimes I jump off too fast. Okay, there we go. Right. And no, nothing. So I can actually say thank you all. Thank you all so much. And I hope that somebody is finding something here. I hope that somebody is finding inspiration and encouragement in order to do the work that's really necessary, that will get us to emotionally healthy, really deeply happy, content, and having a feeling of grace. So from me and from Muffin, it's time to get up. Say goodbye. I'm sorry. I know it's nice, but we are done now. So from me and from Muffin, um, thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Much love.